Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of FilmSnobbery Live. I am your host, Nic Baisley. I'm joined tonight by my co-host, as usual, director of Stuck Like Chuck, Jerry Cavallero. Say hi to the folks, Jerry.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, now Jerry will disappear into the shadows.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat.
If you have any questions that you want to direct to our guests tonight, feel free to put them in the chat room. Jerry will direct them over to me, and we'll direct them over to the guest. Speaking of our guests, we actually have a great show for everyone. I'm very, very excited. We have two people that you've definitely heard of, which is interesting to have in the independent film world. Two people that you've heard of, and they're here to talk about their previous films. They're here to talk about their new films that are coming up. We're going to talk about kind of some experiences they've had along the way. Hopefully, we learn a little bit. Hopefully, you guys are all entertained, and we do have a contest coming up after the interview, and then we're going to talk about our Indiegogo project of the week. And after that, we might have time for a little bit of discussion before we head on out. We'll be announcing the contest winner at the end of the show, and the prize this week is courtesy of the First Glance Film Festivals. And if you guys remember, they actually have a late deadline coming up. Looks like May 14th is their late deadline, and their without a box deadline, the late deadline, is June 14th for their First Glance Philadelphia call for entry. So definitely check that out if you guys have an opportunity to. I will say, having been to both Coast festivals, probably one of the best festivals I've been to. Actually, I believe I'm on record saying it is the best festival I've gone to. So that being said, I don't want to waste a lot of time. We have two great guests. Co-directors, writers, actors. They've done it all. You've seen them on shows like Boy Meets World. You've seen them in Dinotopia. You've seen them in Castle. You've seen them all these guys all over the place. They have an IMDb combined. They have an IMDb credits list longer than my waistline, which is very difficult to do. And we're going to be talking to them tonight. It's going to be awesome. I'm talking about Mr. Ryder Strong and his brother Shiloh Strong, and we're going to talk to the brothers Strong. And it's going to be awesome. Some guys with some of the best names I've ever heard. So what we're going to do first, though, is they're on. We're going to introduce you guys. We're going to introduce you guys to them, if you're not familiar, via their trailer for their new movie, The Dungeon Masters, or The Dungeon Master. And we are that just played at Tribeca, actually, the Tribeca Film Festival in New York, if you guys weren't aware. We're going to show you the trailer for that when we get back. We're going to start the interview, and we'll hopefully have a very good time, and I actually think we're going to, so it's going to be awesome. So you guys stick around, and we will be right back.
I say, fuck Harry Potter.
When I was a kid, I read fantasy books, and the shit was actually good reading.
You played D&D.
You played D&D.
I did play D&D.
You're talking about Dungeons and Dragons? I'm going to pretend this conversation never happened.
Let's play.
I don't even remember how.
Oh my god, I have a gun.
I have a dungeon master.
Are you ready for an adventure?
Is this guy for real?
Yeah. He lives at home in the basement. He goes to Ren fairs.
I don't think I can do this, dude. Seriously, can I watch?
It's gonna be fun. We're role playing.
You will surely meet your doom.
What's the deal? It's like you took a course in how to be socially retarded.
Hey, take it down.
No, fuck this guy. Can't you just be a normal person?
Oh shit balls.
And we're back. Ladies and gentlemen, may I welcome to the show. Very pleased to have our guests, Shiloh and Ryder Strong. Gentlemen.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, guys. Thank you guys.
Thanks so much for having us, Mitch.
It's so awesome to have you guys on, man. I've followed you guys on Twitter for a while, and I've heard very, very good things from Jerry, who actually saw your movie at Tribeca. And I guess I should also congratulate you guys. You won a Audience Choice Award at Tribeca, correct?
Yeah, that was online. It was a part of online.
Oh, it counts. It still counts. Well, just because it's online doesn't mean it doesn't count. I mean, I'm online, and I don't count, but that's beside the point.
No, totally.
So, this is the third short you guys have co-directed, correct?
It's actually our second short. Yeah, we did a third one that we haven't released yet, but this was our second one.
And actually, now the one that hasn't been released yet, just correct me if I'm wrong. Is it Irish Twins?
Yeah, Irish Twins was our first one. And Method is the one that we have just finished and hasn't played anywhere yet.
Awesome. All right, so let's I guess start a little bit about how you guys got started in terms of working together as filmmakers. I mean, obviously, brothers growing up, you both are actors. You both kind of have done a lot of similar things in terms of like TV and stuff like that. Others might recognize from movies. I love Cabin Fever. Ryder, big fan of that, man. So one of the things I want to ask is were you guys have you guys always talked about being collaborative in your careers and saying, we should just make something together? It'd be fun.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, we always joke about, like, we started doing this when we were about 4 years old, because our father came home with, like, a big, like, it was like one of those VHS, home recorders where it actually had to have, like, a suitcase off to the side where you put the VHS in and then it had to go on the shoulder mount. And, he came home and we started filming. He did it just to like record us as kids, but we started actually making these little home movies. And my dad would cut them together, and we made probably 10 different movies like that. And then that kind of spiraled into us getting into acting and community theater, which then led to our acting careers. But yeah, the first thing we really professionally did together, I would say, would be the play we put on. I wrote a play that we produced called Shades of Blue in Los Angeles, and Ryder and I acted in that. And that was kind of our first collaborative, like, professional adventure, I guess, you say?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of noticed on your, on the IMDb pages, you guys share a lot, credit in everything that you guys do. I guess, Shiloh, I would ask you, I mean, is there anything in particular, I mean, you guys are both co-director, co-writer, stuff like that. Do you prefer to do one thing or another? I mean, I also see that you do the cinematography as well. And is there one thing that you like to do better? And, you guys both just kind of take co-credit anyway, but is there one thing that you kind of prefer to do? Like, you prefer to be behind the camera or writing or...
Yeah, I definitely prefer directing. I think Ryder and I both kind of have had that experience, because when we did Irish Twins, it was we acted in it as well, and the characters were brothers, and it just kind of made sense for us because it was a lot of kind of talking and character-based stuff. We're like, okay, let's put ourselves in it, let's do this. And we realized while we were shooting, that both of us were having the most fun when the other one was in front of the camera and we were behind the camera. It's like when Ryder had his, solo scenes that I wasn't in, I was having a blast being behind the camera. And that was kind of realization of like, oh, you know what, I think, better if we're both kind of working on this together, and be behind the camera. So I definitely prefer that. Yeah, and not only that, but also we realized when we started playing film festivals with Irish Twins and getting audience reaction, there's something interesting that happens because we really chose to put ourselves in it to save time and money, because we could rehearse the scenes to death and block them out. And so by the time we got on set, it was like we knew exactly what we wanted and how to do it. And, we were shooting Irish Twins on film, so, it was very limited times and takes. So it made sense for us to act in it. But, it sort of got perceived as like a vanity project, the idea of like, oh, you guys wrote and directed this thing so you could showcase your acting. And that was the last thing on our minds. For us, it was about the writing and the directing. So it was sort of a lesson in recognizing that if you put yourself as an actor in something, people are going to think that that's sort of the end goal of why you did it. And so we were very, very clear, like when it came to, doing Dungeon Master, even though, we would have probably loved to have played one of the parts, or, we could have easily done it, and maybe it would have saved us time and energy. It was like, no, this is not about us acting. This is just writing and directing. It's kind of distracting.
Now, I noticed, actually, before I ask one question, we actually do have a question from the audience. Meg Norris in the chat room asked a couple of quick things. Is there anywhere we can watch Irish Twins, which I think you guys already answered, they said, or Dungeon Master?
Nowhere right now.
At a film?
Let's see, Dungeon Master is going to be playing Seattle at the end of this month. May 27th, we're playing in Seattle. And that's the only film festival that we have like a date lined up for right now. We're going to be playing other film festivals, but Yeah, no, we played, while we were at Tribeca, we were playing online, which was great, and a lot of people got to see it that way.
Now,
and
did you
that's how we
did you guys get any analytics or anything like that, or were you privy to any type of view counts or anything like that on your movie?
I was kind of bummed about that. I actually sent they just sent a little questionnaire. How was your online experience with Tribeca? I was like, that was one of the notes I said. I was like, it would have been really nice to be able to see how many people viewed it. And I think people were able to write comments, and get some feedback, which is so awesome to get as a filmmaker. Just getting feedback from your audience is, it's why you do this. But I'm sure they have some data on that, but I never found out what that was.
I gotcha.
Yeah, we didn't even know how the award worked. We knew that the online festival, because there was the regular festival and then there was the online festival, and they only selected so many shorts to be a part of the online festival. So we knew that we had a good shot at winning this online award, and we never really knew what it was based on, except that when people watched the movies online, I guess they were asked to rate them, with stars or 1 through 5. Or I'm not sure how it worked, but that's how we won the award that we won. But we never watched the movie online, so we never, got to see how exactly it worked. So yeah, it would have been good to know.
We do have another question from the audience, and eventually I'll get to mine. But let's go for these guys first. Jake Who number 4 asked for Ryder. What made you want to go into indie films rather than continue on the path of mainstream television? And I'm guessing that this isn't a divergence. It's mostly just like this is something you wanted to do, a passion project more so, and you continue to act as a that's your day job like anyone else. Some people have a 9 to 5 that, is cutting metal. You go and act.
If you had asked me that question even a year ago, I probably would have given that answer. But now I am definitely moving away from acting, consciously. I think acting is a very tough job. I love the process of actually acting. When you actually have a job and you're there and you're committed and you're doing it. But it's really hard to control the context of what you're doing. You have to pour your heart into a job no matter what. But you don't really know how it's going to turn out. You don't always have a clear idea of what and that's creatively been pretty dissatisfying to me. I've just worked really hard and done a lot of these little movies. And they're not what I want to do anymore. So I went away and did a play last year. I went to Australia and I did The Graduate in Australia. And that was like a real sort of get back to the roots acting experience where I got to be on stage. And, being in theater, it's the actor's medium. And you're much more in control of the context. And it was so satisfying. It's so freeing. And when I came back, I sort of said, okay, I'm just going to focus on the directing. I'm not really going to fight for another TV job or do another guest spot on, in an interrogation room on some cop show. I feel like I've done that a lot, and I don't know. It's obviously it's hard to walk away from money and success, but I'm so much more satisfied by something like The Dungeon Master, which obviously it costs me money. I don't make anything from this, and it's a short film, so it's not like we're ever gonna make anything. But this career path and working with Shiloh, and it's so much more creatively satisfying that I wouldn't say I'm retired from acting, because if the right project comes along, I would love to do it. But it really has to be the right project. I think, for the last couple of years, I've been keeping acting mostly because I want to keep acting, and not because the script that landed on my desk is the greatest thing I've ever read or what I want to play. And so I think I want to hold off until that script comes along. So I am kind of taking a break right now.
No, hey, if you guys are continue to put out stuff like The Dungeon Master and all the good things I've heard about that, and also I noticed that as I was watching the trailer while it was playing here on my monitor, I noticed you had some people there that I've seen in other things. I think was that Adam Bush I noticed in there as well.
Yeah.
Yep. I know. Yeah. So you guys are working with great people, and I know that. It just you're winning awards. You're out there. Obviously. Now, you guys, I'm assuming, you guys are making these shorts, and yeah, it's costing $1 or $2 here and there for you guys, I'm sure. Now, is this leading up to you guys collaborating on a feature possibly in the future? Are you just kind of building the portfolio right now?
Yeah, we're like your calling cards, we call it.
Excellent.
Yeah, when we first made Irish Twins, we didn't really have a long-range plan. We just sort of made this short film, and it was like, oh, let's just toss it out there, and then we'll see what happens. And, we didn't really know what we were doing, but with this, and actually because of Irish Twins, we got some writing attention. And, we've been writing stuff because of Irish Twins. But as far as directing, we haven't been able to, make the leap to feature film. So that's what we definitely wanted to, when we finished Dungeon Master, it was like, all right, let's get everything sort of lined up and ready to go so that once Dungeon Master premiered, we could sort of start hustling Hollywood. So that's what we're doing now. We're ready. We're definitely feel ready to make a feature, and, we've created a really fun team of, fellow filmmakers and production designers and actors. And that's the most amazing. Yeah. That's what I feel. Doing these short films, because everybody comes out and helps for free. They're spending 14-hour days with us, running around town, and and they're not getting paid. They're getting cold pizza, after a 10-hour day. And so that's what the real goal is. You find the people that are so passionate about it, that are willing to go on this crazy ride with you, and you're so indebted to them. Now I just want to make a feature so we could actually pay them what they should be paid. And you really find the people that are talented when they're willing to do that, help you out. So.
Now, do you guys both obviously have that star cachet and stuff like that? Now, do you find that when you're out promoting a film, like at a film festival or even on a show like this, do you find that sometimes it's more difficult, or does it help to have that behind you? In as much as some people might focus more on your careers as actors rather than focusing on the project you guys are trying to promote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think writer. I feel like you can.
Yeah, writer. Sorry, I should indicate they're not in the same room. So.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not really that. I mean, I in some ways, like, it's great because I've got a lot of Twitter followers. I've got a lot of people that are really supportive of me just because of Boy Meets World. And there are some people out there, and there are a lot of people out there who don't want me to do anything but a Boy Meets World reunion. They're just waiting for that. And, I'm inevitably going to disappoint them when I say, it's not really me anymore, I'm doing something completely different. So there's always going to be that contingent, but I think that, then there's the people that are interested in something new, and the people that I'm going to discover, that are going to stumble across my page or, this interview or whatever, and really be interested in the films that I am making and that, that we're doing now. So, I don't know, I mean, I can't, I'm not, what happened to Tribeca was interesting. Like, we were on the red carpet, and, the very fact that we were on the red carpet was probably because of, our acting experience. Like, I don't think short filmmakers generally get walked down the red carpet at Tribeca, but because of the name recognition, they walk us down the red carpet, and, there we are, and it's great, and we're talking about our movie, but then, of course, somebody from the Wall Street Journal or whatever, it's like, when's the Boy Meets World reunion? And I'm like, I don't think it's going to happen. So, of course, the next day, that gets plastered all over the internet, and, there's all this backlash of, Shiloh Strong says the Boy Meets World interview the Boy Meets World reunion is never going to happen. It's like, guys, it's not even why I'm here. The only reason you're hearing me talk right now is because I made a short film, but, nobody cares about that. Yeah. So sometimes it's frustrating, it's like, well, can you just accept that I'm doing something different? But I don't know, maybe it's like a band, like when you put out your first album and it's like that's all anybody wants you to just replicate again, and you do something completely different. Mm-hmm. Hopefully over time, people will see you for the second album or the third album or something completely different that you've done. So I'm really not worried about it. So you use Fred Savage as a really good example too.
Yep.
Here's a guy who's cultivated a really great directing career.
Yep.
And I'm sure he's had to fight. Wonder Years. Think about that.
Yeah, no, my
real challenge.
My favorite episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia are the ones that he directed.
And, totally.
Yeah.
He's a great director.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think that's doing what Ryder had said, kind of stepping back, not only because he, from acting, because he wanted to kind of work on something else for a while until the right thing came along, but also, I think that kind of being out of the public face for a bit in that capacity. Kind of when you do pop up, I think people take a little bit more interest in what you're doing. You know, and that you know, I think that contributes to a little bit of the hype of what it is you're promoting. In this case, obviously the Dungeon Master. I'm just reminding everyone, you got to check out the Dungeon Master. So when it comes to either a film festival near you, or when it comes to a film screening series near you, or if you eventually, by the way, this is not the Dungeon Master that's on Hulu. I made that mistake before the interview. But yeah, so let's see. I know we have a couple more quick questions here from the audience. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's one from Tori in the audience. She said her dream is to be a model / actress, but she's from a small nowhere town. Is there any advice that either of you could give? I guess we'll start with Ryder. Any of you could give about you know, kind of how to get it, and maybe even a little bit of like, you know, is what's that lifestyle like once you've actually made it and been picked up on something that was successful? I mean, Ryder, maybe you could start. Shiloh, I'm sure you'll have some insight on this as well. I mean, how does one get into and survive Hollywood?
Wow. You know, it's tough for us. I mean, because we started very young. You know, I mean, we actually were kids. And I'm always sort of amazed at the sort of will that it takes to, you know, up and leave your town and go to Los Angeles to pursue a career in acting. But that's what you have to do. I mean, the reality is there's only 2 cities in America that you're going to be able to survive as an actor, and that's New York and Los Angeles. And so, you know, Tori's going to have to leave her town. You know, and that's the reality. And, you know, it's something that you really only should do if you can't imagine life without doing it, because, you know, it's kind of insane. I mean, it's a crazy, crazy grind, and the amount of rejection that you're putting yourself in, you know, you're setting yourself up for is really, it's overwhelming. So, you know, the people that are successful actors, and the term success is, you know, all over the map. I mean, there are plenty of successful actors who just, you know, we don't know their names, but they're, you know, doing amazing theater work in small theaters throughout Los Angeles or New York. You know, and then there's obviously successful actors who win Academy Awards, and then there's successful actors who make a really great living being a character actor on every, you know, primetime TV show, but you never know their name. You know, there's all levels of success, and I think the most important thing is to determine what you want, what kind of success you want, and what's going to make you happy. And, you know, I mean, I'm in a sort of place right now, you know, like I was saying earlier, where I think the most important thing is that you pick projects that you really care about and that you enjoy, and, you know, that you don't make it a competition to just get the next job, to just keep working, to just keep acting, because I think that's a dangerous cycle. But obviously I have the luxury of having been successful as an actor for a while, so, you know, and when you're starting out, yeah, you got to do commercials, you got to do print ads, you got to do a lot of stuff that, you know, you might not love at first glance, but will be the stepping stone for the next thing. But I don't know. It's not really an answer.
No, it's...
I mean, I guess just to say, like, I'm working with these actors on these short films. It's been so awesome, and it's really give me so much respect for actors. You know, granted, I've been an actor for a long time, but there's always this level, like Ryder was saying, we came up as, you know, as child actors, so it's sort of like that drive and that ambition. We had it, but, you know, it was like our mom was driving us to auditions. It wasn't like we had to, like, up and leave our town. It was just kind of, like, happened very organically for us. We were so lucky to have that, you know?
Right.
So we kind of had a different scheme, but that's the one thing that I have such amazing respect for the actors that live in Los Angeles or New York that get up every day and, you know, go out to these endless auditions and keep working. And that's what I like. You're saying a successful actor. Like, I think anybody who can actually make a living in acting that's just amazing. It's like just pure, like, you are making money and a living off of yourself, and
performing.
No, we feel the same way about most independent filmmakers that are here too, because the biggest question that we get is how do you sustain yourself as an independent filmmaker, or kind of quote unquote graduate from independent filmmaking to mainstream filmmaking, if that's someone's career goal. And it's tough now. And as actors, I'm guessing that you have a little bit better insight. Do you guys have a bit of a shorthand when you are directing with other actors, because you guys have been kind of on the other side of the camera, and actually usually are on the other side of the camera too?
Yeah. Oh, it's helped immensely. I mean, it's been just because you have the vocabulary, and I don't know, I feel so comfortable talking to any actor in that situation, just because I know the way that I would like to be talked to, as an actor. But I don't know, I feel like that's helped out a lot. It's something that I've realized is, and that I appreciate from my experience with acting, because actors are different. Like Adam Bush is a very different type of actor than I am, and we've actually had some pretty intense discussions, because he's very method, and I don't use method at all. I don't really even quite understand it. It doesn't help me. So but the most important thing for me is, and something that I feel like a lot of directors miss, is that the most important thing is not what you say to an actor. It's not like the note you give. It's actually just creating a comfortable environment where they can't fail, and where they feel like they're not going to do anything wrong. That no matter what choices they make, no matter what risks they take, there's no mistake. Mm-hmm. And that's something I think that Shiloh and I really work hard to cultivate. It's like, I always want to have rehearsal. I mean, it's one of those things that nowadays nobody has rehearsals anymore, like on films. Like they just cast and then they start shooting the next day. And man, like every acting experience I've ever had has been amplified a million times by the rehearsal process. Not because we've had, a time to nail down the perfect performance that I'm going to replicate on the day, but actually just to create a sense of camaraderie and an atmosphere of like, oh, we're all in this together, and meeting your other cast members. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had to oh, this is the girl you're going to be making out with in this scene. Like, oh, hi, nice to meet you. And then, your tongue's down each other's throats. Like, that's ridiculous, I mean, and we shouldn't tolerate that. And I think that as directors, that's something that every director should stand up for. Is like, even if rehearsal is just sitting around telling stories. I mean, like, when I did Cabin Fever, that was the last film that I did that we actually got rehearsal time, was Cabin Fever. And we benefited so much from that because, it was Eli Roth sitting around telling stories most of the time. We barely did much rehearsing, but just getting to know Eli and getting to understand what he expected from that movie, because it's a very weird movie tonally. And he's such a great storyteller. He's such a funny guy. And he's so engaging, and he has such passion for the movies he's making, and the movies that he really loves those 80s horror, that gory. And at the time nobody was making movies like that. So we were shooting in 2001, like. To have a guy like that passionate and be able to sit around with the cast and get us all excited and knowing exactly what kind of movie we were in, that was invaluable. It had nothing to do with our performance at the end of the day. It had to do with all of us knowing exactly what kind of movie we were in and just creating a great atmosphere. And so that's really my goal as a director, as an actor's director, if I'm going to use that term. It's about creating an atmosphere of you can't fail and clear communication.
I'm sure that makes the actors and actresses that are working with you a lot more comfortable to be a little bit more expressive in what they're doing, because they don't feel that they're under the weight and the responsibility of being so, there's nothing oppressive about it, so they don't have to be a certain way in their performance. They probably feel a lot more comfortable, maybe opening up a little bit more or going that a little bit further than they normally would be.
Yep, totally. Yeah, and also it's trusting. I mean, there's so much trust involved there. If they're trusting that, you're watching their performance and you believe in them wholeheartedly, then they're willing to get to that emotional scene or whatever it is,
No, I got you. Now, so I want to ask just a technical question of, you guys are shooting the Dungeon Master. First of all, I guess I'll ask Shiloh, what did you guys shoot on?
We shot Dungeon Master on the Red camera.
Okay. And how did you guys... had you guys worked with Reds before? I mean, is it something, was there a learning curve to what you were doing? And I guess the follow-up to that, and I guess I'll stick with Shiloh for a moment, was there any, was there any particular look that you try to go for? I mean, like, is there anything that, like, you're like, oh, Hitchcock did this back in the day, or, you know, Eli Roth did this, or Tarantino used to do this, you know, something like that. So is there anything kind of on that level, on a cinematography level, that you guys were kind of into?
Yeah, we made a choice. I mean, we hadn't shot with the red before, but, you know, we'd always done the starting with 35, which, I mean, I don't think we'll ever do that again, just because we have the, you know, and Irish Twins, we shot at 35, which worked great. I'm glad we did, but as far as the expense goes, you know, the red is just, it's amazing. It looks so good. And yeah, so, yeah, and as far as look, we originally wanted, like, the whole first half of the movie is very kind of handheld, and you know, the camera's always kind of finding, it's very conversational and panning and moving around. I wanted to feel really loose, you know, just to keep that kind of a mumblecore sort of vibe, you know, and people talking over each other. But then we wanted, like, the actual character of the Dungeon Master, which is played by Alexander Blinsky. We have, like, you know, we have some dolly moves with his character, because he has this sort of, you know, magical air about him, and then near the end of the film, we kind of had a whole shift in the tone, and from that moment on, we wanted to change the color. We were working with a lot of kind of muted, cool tones in the beginning, and then when we open up into this different, you know, look, it's very green, and then we got the camera moves. We wanted this cinematic, like, sweeping, like, epic sort of vibe. Okay. So that was our, like, conscious cinematic choice throughout the.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. One of our other, who's also L.A. based, one of our viewers here, Zach Forsman, made a joke in the chat room where he says, "Ooh, the red. Would they say this red tells better stories than other cameras?" And he's also an independent filmmaker, and I think that he feels not saying, no one's saying that the red's not a phenomenal camera. I think he's also saying that some people have some issues with. Oh, hold on a second. I had the conference here. It looks like we lost one of you.
Yeah, it's Shiloh. Sorry, I jumped out on you.
That's okay. Everyone's back. Yeah, no. So what I was saying, I'll just repeat it because you know you might have lost it. The joke was about, you know, do red cameras tell better stories than other cameras? And I think that from what I'm seeing from, obviously, like we said, Audience Choice Award for the Dungeon Master and all that, I'm saying that in this case the red does tell a great story, at least when it's in the hands of these two capable gentlemen.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like the red is. Go for it, child. I was just going to say, well, our latest short method that we did after this, we ended up shooting entirely on the 5D Mark II, which, cause I'm a photographer by day, and so we had that camera, and we ended up getting out. And that was a very different kind of shoot than the Dungeon Master. Like, you know, when we did method, it was like our crew was 5 people, you know, and we were running around, you know, stealing shots with the classic, you know, shoulder mount sort of deal. But I gotta say, it looks really great. Like, I'm blown away for as far as, you know, being able to just get out and shoot something. It's pretty epic. I mean, even when we got into post-production, we were doing the coloring, and, like, we got it in there, and there was some stuff we were shooting at a really high ISO, which would make it, like, really grainy and noisy, you know. And in post, we were able to pull back from that a lot. And I'm really stoked on it. That might be
I don't know. We're sort of torn. I don't know if we would use the red again. I think as far as transitioning from, because our DP had never shot on the red, and, you know, we did some test shots with the 5D for Dungeon Master, and I think as far as comfort and, like, crew comfort and, like, making the transition to red was much easier to transition from 35 millimeter to, you know, digital. But I don't know, like, yeah, I mean, I feel like the red is kind of dying. I feel like its moment has passed. I mean, now everybody's talking about the Airy, and we're sort of entering a new era. It's been interesting. Like, you know, we were at Tribeca in 2008 with Irish Twins, and so we saw a lot of shorts then, and, you know, I would say, like, every shorts program would have a couple of shorts that would be really good. Like, they would have a great story or great acting, but they would kind of look like crap. Like, they would clearly just didn't have enough money to shoot, you know, to shoot on a good camera. They would be shooting on a very cheap camera. And this time around, playing Tribeca, those shorts don't exist anymore. Like, everybody can make a short look pretty damn good nowadays, and I'm just impressed, like, you know, because pretty much everybody can get a hold of a Canon 5D, and run around. And, you know, and it's kind of hard to make crappy looking shorts. Like, it's, you know, the technology is so accessible now.
I will say you need to come on down here and see some of the stuff that goes into my mailbox, because I can show you some crappy looking. No. But that being said, no, you do. You guys do have a point. You totally do have a point. But you know, I will say that yeah, the technology has made the filmmaking experience a lot more accessible from a technical level to make things look good. I actually, even when I do, because I'm a film critic as well, what I normally do is I throw out the whole look and feel thing unless there's something very specific about the style. And I do actually, I focus a lot on character development. I focus a lot on story, and it's mostly because it's so easy to go out and get a 5D or 7D or a you know, or any camera that is a 1080p with a relatively decent lens. I mean, that stuff now is so accessible that, you know, for $5,000 you could make a movie, and, you know, and have it be look pretty darn good. But you know, then there's the other things like sound and other things like which I guess is another quick question is, you know, when you guys are doing this, obviously Shiloh, you have a background in photography, and both of you guys have been, you know, in front of and behind the camera you know, so long now that you probably know your way around that stuff technically. But what about stuff like sound and post-production, ADR, you know, all that kind of stuff, sound mixing, in terms of even the soundtrack and stuff? I mean, how does that stuff, did you guys have to learn? Was there a learning curve for that?
Definitely. I mean, you know, it's funny. It's funny because you know, sound is one of those areas, like, first of all, just recording sound, you can get everybody to work for free on a set except the sound recorder. It's like, it's so funny. It's one of those positions that, you know, you always end up having to pay somebody, and you want to have to pay somebody because you want them to be good. Because it's the one area, there's not a whole lot of, like, creative flexibility. You just want good sound. You want somebody that has the right equipment and knows how to get the good recording. So that's something we had to learn, is like, don't skip on sound. Like, make sure you have a good sound guy and pay for it. And then when it comes to mixing and stuff, yeah, we don't really have that much experience. And when post-production in general was always our weakest. I mean, we're getting a lot better at it. But that's where we have our least connection, because most of our experience and our connections come from acting. And so, of course, you know, the second you say rap, we're done. So we never even meet the editor of half of the things that we, you know, acted in or whatever. So, you know, we've had to build up a sort of, over the last 3 shorts, we've had to build up a, you know, a team of post-production people, and sound mixing and music. I mean, that's definitely more my area than Shiloh when it comes to music, especially. Shiloh's not as sensitive to sound. He's also like, I'm the type of person that I cannot stand temp sound. Like, I need the editor to be able to adjust sound levels to make an edit look okay. I mean, I can't even watch it. Like, you know, a lot of times you'll get an editor who will just do a rough assembly, and they won't really mix the level because they're not even thinking about sound and just wanted to do the visual. I can't handle that. Like, I need the editor to because if there's a sound change and a cut, like, I will never see visually what is actually happening. Like, I won't be able to be objective about it. I just see bad cut. I'm like sound obsessed. So, yeah, we definitely had to find, like, editors who who understand that and can work with that, but then also, you know, a great sound mixer who did our last 2 shorts, who, you know, can just come in and make us sound so good.
Yeah. I would guess the last question for all the budding actors, actresses, sound people, editors, you know, cinematographers, etc., who may be interested in working with you guys in the future on other projects that you guys do. You know, how do you guys normally go about crewing up? You know, crewing up for your shoots. I mean, is it mostly a friends and family type of situation, or just, you know, friends of friends, or do you actually put out casting notices for things, or how do you guys generally handle, you know, getting everything ready for the film?
It's been mostly friends and family, I think, for most of this. But then we also, like, I mean, that's the beauty of living in Los Angeles, is having this amazing resource of a city with talented, you know, people that are hungry to help. And I know Alexandra Barreto, who produced The Dungeon Master, was, you know, she was just great at going out there. And there's some websites, like there's one that's Mandy.com, I think is what it's called. You ever heard about?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, and it's a great resource, and so you can get some people to come on, because, you know, that's the thing when you start building a crew. Mm-hmm. It's just amazing how many people you need to do this. You always think it's like, oh, let's do it really small, and then it's like, oh my God, we just need that one extra guy to, you know, lift that thing. And, you know, Dungeon Master, we were definitely understaffed when we were up in location, and I mean, everybody was doing 5 jobs, you know. It would have been nice to have 10 more people on that.
Yeah, I mean, most of our key creative positions like casting and you know, all the major creative positions we usually find through friends. We've never held auditions for any of our stuff, and that's just because we've been lucky enough to know these actors, to work with these actors, and you know, we generally write to people. So we've been really fortunate to just have, you know, to be able to steal from our talented friends and take advantage of them.
Gotta love the calling in the favor, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and let's. I know I don't want to keep you guys on here forever, although I'm sure everyone here in the chat room would love for me to keep you guys on all night. But let's get into some plugs here for your stuff. You said you guys are going to be, or rather, the Dungeon Master is going to be in Seattle, May 27th. You said. Yep. Okay. Yeah, good. I was listening. And everyone, if you guys want to check out the website for the Dungeon Master, you can go to thedungeonmastermovie.com, and you can also follow Ryder over at twitter.com/onthestorm, and you can follow Shiloh over at twitter.com/Shiloh Strong, and you guys can also check out methodthemovie.com, I believe, which is the website for your upcoming movie.
Yep.
Awesome. See, look, we got all of that stuff. It's all out there.
Right out.
Well, I want to thank you guys again for coming on the show. I'm again, a big fan of both of you, and I appreciate you guys taking the time to come on and talk about your stuff and give a little bit of insight into everything that kind of goes on behind the scenes, with not only the movies that you guys do, but also a little bit of insight on Hollywood. And just thank you for sharing the time. I want to say a quick shout out to our mutual friend who helped us set this up, Melanie Marquez, M4PR. I believe it's at M4PR on Twitter. I could be wrong. If I am, I'm sorry, Melanie. But so thanks, guys. I appreciate it. You guys have an awesome night, and
Thanks so much, Nick.
I look forward to watching the Dungeon Master. Not a problem. I look forward to seeing the Dungeon Master, and I want to, and maybe if we're lucky, I'll have to talk to Melanie, and I don't know if this goes through her. I'll have to see if we can get it on at one of our live shows at the one of our screening series. I think the audience would dig that.
So that'd be cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, totally.
Cool, man. All right, guys. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryder Strong and Shiloh Strong, the brothers Strong. They're awesome, and they were here, and now they're not.
All right, have a good one.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. Bye. But don't all you guys at the in the audience leave, because we do have more show for you. We're actually quickly going to turn things over to our co-host, Jerry Cavallero. We got a contest. You want to win some stuff, you got to stick around, because that's how it rolls here. So, Jerry, why don't you go ahead and talk to the good folks about our contest for a 1-year subscription for Movie Maker Magazine, courtesy of our good friend Bill Ostroff, the director of the First Glance Film Festival. Again, their call for entries for their First Glance Film Festival Philadelphia is their late deadline is May 14th, coming up, so you better get it in there. And the without a box deadline, like the late deadline, is June 14th. So, Jerry, what do the folks have to do to get their hands on a 1-year subscription to Movie Maker Magazine?
Well, you have to be really quick with copying and pasting or typing and going to Twitter. I'm going to post something else in the chat room right now. We did the same thing last week. First person to tweet it out will win. So I'm going to post it right now in the chat room. It says, I'm subjecting myself to FilmSnobbery Live, so First Glance Film better give me a free subscription to Movie Maker Magazine. First person to tweet it out will win 1-year subscription courtesy of First Glance Films. And, yeah.
And, yeah.
Back to you, Nick.
That was so professional sounding. Like, I almost feel like, to be fair, Jerry, I really thought you were going to be like, and the contest, dick pics. Send them to, I was like, wait a minute. Because I would think that that's what Jerry would do. That being said.
Send them to Nick at FilmSnobbery.com.
Thank you, Jerry. So what we're going to do is Jerry is actually going to give us the winner of this contest at the end of the show. And what we're going to do now is I want to cut to a promo for our good friends over at IndiePix.com. Check out their new IndiePix Unlimited, because it's awesome. And if you guys are out there are definitely fans of independent film, you guys, maybe already have like a Netflix subscription, check out basically what I'm calling, they're not calling it that, they'll probably hate that I'm calling it this because I'm mentioning another company in the thing, but it really is like the Netflix of independent film. You really got to check them out. It's indiepix.com, and I'm going to show you a quick promo for them right now. So when we come back, we're going to talk about our Indiegogo project of the week, and we'll see where we go from there. So stick around. We'll be right back. And we're back, and we're here to talk about our Indiegogo project of the week, and I want to talk about something that, the reason why I picked this project is because it's something that I used to read when I was growing up in my teens. It's been very influential not only on my career, but also the career of many people that you guys are that are working now in the mainstream industry. Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier, when they were making Clerks, and they I guess Film Threat magazine had posted a production breakdown, budget breakdown in the back of one of their magazines, and they actually used that article in Film Threat magazine as a basis for their budget for Clerks. And it's been influential, and it's been around for, Film Threat has been around for I think 26 years at this point. Chris Gore has left Film Threat. It's now being run by Mark Bell, and one of the first things Mark Bell has decided to do is he wants to relaunch the return of Film Threat magazine, and that is what this Indiegogo project is. There is also a Kickstarter project for this as well. The reason why he's actually running two concurrent projects is he actually wants to see basically which one is more successful. There's now a definitive answer when someone says, hey, should I go with Indiegogo or should I go with Kickstarter? Now, to be honest, that's more of a personal opinion kind of thing. Obviously, if one succeeds and the other doesn't, there's a correlation of why you'd say one over the other. However, every project is kind of different. With Indiegogo, one of the things that I've noticed is that lower budgeted projects tend to do better. I don't know why, but I really love the personal feel of Indiegogo, which is why we work with them, because they're just really cool people to work with. And that's really what a lot of people in this industry do, is they work with their friends and family, just like Ryder and Shiloh Strong. So our Indiegogo project of the week is the return of Film Threat magazine. Now, they're trying to raise 30 G's, and that's 30 G's on both campaigns. So what we're going to do here is I just want to give you guys the link here. It's at www.indiegogo.com/the return of Film Threat magazine. Now, the return of Film Threat magazine has dashes all in between the words, so you can do that, or just search for Film Threat on there, and it's the first choice that comes up. They've already, they just started a couple of days ago, and they've already raised about $100 of their $30,000 goal. Seems like a very long kind of goal, but they've got 49 days left, and there's some cool stuff. I mean, you can have an opportunity to get the collectible first issue. You can get collectible first 4 issues, and they'll all be signed by Film Threat owner Mark Bell. Mark's a great guy. I've seen him at a couple festivals. I ran into him at South by Southwest. I ran into him. Him and I had lunch actually at the First Glance Philadelphia Film Festival as well. And he's a cool guy. He's got some really cool things coming up for Film Threat. Him and I have spoken kind of at length about things that we're doing at FilmSnobbery, things that he's doing at Film Threat. I'm promoting this not because I feel, some people are probably like, well, isn't he kind of a competitor? They do the reviews and they do all this other stuff that we do. I don't really view it as that. I mean, that is Film Threat magazine has and filmthreat.com has a historical kind of thing. I mean, they are kind of what we all, kind of sprang from. I mean, they did the magazine led to the website led to other people doing websites like Ain't It Cool News and all these other ones. So, these guys have been around since the nascent days of the net, and, we're trying to prove here that print is not dead. I actually really enjoy, I pick up my Movie Maker magazine every week, every month rather, or quarter, bi-monthly, whenever it comes out. I get it sent to me, so, I pick it up and it's there. When I go to like a Barnes & Noble or Borders, something like that, first thing I do is I look at all the trade magazines. I look at, Hollywood Reporter. I look at, Movie Maker, Filmmaker magazine, Film Editor. There's a Film Editor magazine. There are tons of them. I'm not on the spot. I can't remember all of them. But that being said, I want to add another one to that list when I go to Barnes & Noble. I want to see Film Threat magazine back on the stands, and I know all you guys probably do too. So I want you guys to definitely, if you get an opportunity to donate to that, I would love to see you guys donate to that. If you can't donate money, donate time. Give it a retweet. Like it on Facebook. Do something like that. It'll be awesome. So, let's see, there we go. I just had to chat something here. So that is our Indiegogo project of the week. The other, Nathan says Twilight the magazine. Sadly, there is a Twilight the magazine. I don't read that one, but I see that one all the time. Or it's Busted. Yeah, Jerry, yeah. Look, you're reading Boy's Life, so go away.
We just had an article about Boy Meets World.
Right. That's what you can say. So that is kind of the end of this. Jerry, did you have anything going on in your world you wanted to talk about?
I have the winner of the contest.
Well, you do have that. Was there anything else?
I've been writing a bit.
You've been writing a bit. Yeah, you definitely do that. Actually, I want to encourage everyone to go to wearemoviegeeks.com. Check out Jerry's coverage of the Tribeca Film Festival. He's got some interviews up there, including one with Shiloh and Ryder. You can check that out, and you can also check out some of his reviews and stuff like that. So, not that.
I promised people I'd post in the chat if they stayed till the end of the show, and I know you're going to hate me for posting a link to We Are Movie Geeks in the chat, but I'm going to do that.
That's okay.
Stick around to the end of the show and you'll get a link directly to the interview. Otherwise, you'll have to search on Google.
Oh, yeah, because that's so hard. But if you guys want to see the show after it's done, we will have it archived in the next day or so, and so it'll be available for review, and including, I believe, also the chat room archive. So that'll be cool. If I can get that to work again like I did last week. So that'll be great. Jerry, I guess why not? Who's the contest winner?
Well, congratulations to Rainy Cat, Rain Tenchi, whatever name you're going by in the chat room right now. I think it's Rainy right now.
I think she's trying to just continue her subscription because I think she won one last year. So I think she's just trying to get another free year out of us. So that's fine though. That means that Rainy's been listening. Actually, I know for a fact Rainy Cat was one of or Rain Tenchi, depending on which one she's going at that day. She's actually been a viewer of ours since almost day one. Like, she was our first iTunes subscriber. She was our first, I think she was, when we started doing the live shows, she was one of our first people in the chat room we had way back then. It's awesome. So I want to say congratulations for her, and I want to say, who's the second place winner? Just out of curiosity, Jerry.
Second place was... It looks like a tie between Zach Forsman and VGR Hottie 30STM Victoria Robertson.
Victoria Robertson. Well, you know what?
That's a new name.
That is new, and you know what? Because I'm such a guy.
I believe it's Tori though.
Did you believe it too?
Yeah, I believe she was Tori in the chat room.
Oh, cool. Well,
Victoria.
Could be. Well, I say, I'll tell you what, how about we give her a copy too?
Okay.
So there. She gets a one-year Movie Maker subscription as well.
How Zach Forsman's going to feel left out.
Zach, you
are Movie Maker magazine subscription.
You kind of is. Him with his wonderful workbook project and all the other kind of stuff that he does, and his sobby pictures with his great movies that he makes, which Hard to Now I watched recently, and I gotta tell you, I really loved Hard to Now. If any of you guys out there in the audience have not checked out Zach Forsman or Sabi Pictures' Heart of Now starring Marion Kerr, you guys are out of your mind. You need to check that out like immediately. So yeah, so that's it. And you know what? I think that that's the end of the show, and I think that that brings us to the closing and whatnot, because that's generally what the end of the show is. And so I want to thank everyone for coming. I want to thank our guests, Ryder and Shiloh Strong. I want to thank everyone in the chat room, including all the new faces, Meg Norris, Tori. I want to thank the other Nathan, who was bringing some great funness in the audience. I was keeping my eye on you. Actorish, Dresden Dolly, just all these different people. Scott Leask, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Yo-Yo, Rainey, Lord Bronco, Tess, Schmud, Splooge, apparently. I think you just wanted to hear me say Splooge. And everyone else who showed up, I'm so happy to have everyone there, and hopefully you guys join us again. Same time, same bad channel next week. See, I'm even putting it right there on the lower third. Watch live every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here at FilmSnobberyLive.com. Feel free to check out all our existing columns, reviews, everything that we've got going on over at FilmSnobbery.com. And if you're in the New England area, stop on by our May 23rd to our live screening series, Film Snobbery Presents. I think we're calling it an Indie on Elm Street. I don't even know if we have a title for the whole for the actual screening event yet. But May 23rd at 7:30, we're going to be screening Bay State Blues, and we're going to be screening The Legacy, both made by directors from Massachusetts, or at least the producer Jed Hamill's from Massachusetts, and the director of Bay State Blues is Mark Lewis, and he's from here too. So they'll both be on hand to chat about their movie in a live Film Snobbery Live kind of event. And it'll be cool. So hopefully you guys can make it, and we'll see you next week. So have a good night.
Bye.